Hello and welcome. So far, we have seen various things. We have already done with database connection, created the session, and we also created the base class for all the tables and updated our main.py file. Now in this video, we will see how to create models for our table, followed by verification of tables in SQLite database. Then we will see how to create Pydantic schemas. Finally, we will understand the dependencies and will create dependency injection in FastAPI. Let's first understand what a model is. A model is a Pythonic representation of a database table, and today we will create a model to hold the class equivalent of DB tables. We can create models as per our project need. Like if we are working on an e-commerce site, then we should create models for product, admin, users, and etc. Similarly, if we want to develop a job portal, then we should create a model to keep records of jobs, users, and other fields. In this project, we will create a model which is going to store the details of books. The details we are going to save for the book model will have book title, author of book, book description, and the rating. So now create a new folder named models inside the DB directory. Then in the models folder, I am going to create a new file, say books.py. In this file, first we are taking column, integer, and strings from sqlalchemy. Then I inherit the base class from the base underscore class.py file. We are inheriting it to have a class-based representation of tables because each property or attribute of this class will be translated into a column of the table. Next, we have the ID column. It can store integer value and it is a primary key with index equal to true. The title column represents the title of the book and it can store a string. Next, we have author and description column. These columns can also store strings. Last, there is a rating column which can store an integer value. With this, our model is created. Now this time we do not need to make any changes in main.py file because we already added base class in main file from base.py file of db folder. Next we need to run the server and let's check the created tables in the database. To check the tables, let's go to the sqliteonline.com. This is an SQL Online IDE and the best part of it that you do not need to install it. You can use it through the browser of any operating system like Windows, Mac and Linux. Next, click on the file and open DB. Then locate the database path which is inside the project directory. Select the file and click OK. We can see the books table inside our database. You will have the name of the columns which we declared while creating the models. The next topic is schemas. We have done a lot of things. Now it's time to go deep and see what are the required things to perform CRUD operation using FastAPI. So let's start by writing schemas for Pydantic. Remember in previous videos we discussed that FastAPI is built upon Pydantic. Here we will define objects in Pydantic via models that inherits from base model. Pydantic guarantees that the data field of the resultant model confirms the field type we have defined using standard modern Python type for the model. We will also use orm underscore mode is equals to true because it will allow our app to take orm objects and translate them into responses automatically. This automation saves us from manually taking data out of ORM, making it into the dictionary, and then loading it with Pydantic. In simple words, our created Pydantic classes will verify user inserted data type. These classes are called as schemas. Let's again go back to the Visual Studio Code and see it in action. Before that, we will create files and folders to hold schemas. Here, I am creating a new folder in the project directory called Schemas and a file books.py inside it. Then we will import base model and field from Pydantic. Next, we will create Pydantic classes to create books. I am giving it the name is book create with B capital and C capital. You can name it whatever you want. Now, in this class, we are inheriting the base model from Pydantic, which helps FastAPI to suggest validation error to user. Here, whenever we want to create a book, we will receive data in a JSON format where the book title will be verified as a string with a minimum field length equals to 1. Then the author will be validated to be a string with minimum field length. Similarly, the description will also be validated to be a string with minimum and maximum field length. And finally, the rating part will be validated to be an integer value. With this, we are done with the schema part. Next, we will understand the dependencies in FastAPI. Well, dependency injection is a beautiful concept. It is a design pattern in which an object or a function receives another object or function that it depends on. Or we can say the dependency injection allows decoupling database setting during the production and the test environment. That means during production, we would need a different database, and during the test, different database will be used. This can be achieved by dependency injection. This dependency will guide our database connection. Now, let me import the generator from typing to create a dependency get underscore db. It will help to convert the session into Pydantic things. Inside the dependency get underscore db, I am creating db as a session local. Then we can try yield db. And finally, I am closing the db. This means everything is closed in the database connection. It brings us to the end of this lecture. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.